Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. This is basically a video interview with which was actually done like a couple of months back. So I just completed the final edit of it, and I just had to record this quick intro video explaining a bit about this interview. So this is by far one of my favorite interviews, and I don't say that often, hopefully. But the main point about this is that because this literally reframed my whole beliefs about the education system. So the current Indian education system space, as you know of, we have all been abusing it, we have all been insulting it, every single one of us. Okay, but this interview, what you're going to be seeing in this interview is basically how this guy Karan Shah, who's the founder of IIDE, one of the most leading, it's I think the leading digital training institute in India itself, and how he explained what the Indian education system is good for, what's it about, and it literally reframed my whole belief about it, and really insane. And this was actually taken a couple of months back, a lot of months back actually. This was in 2019, I think October, November of 2019. We had recorded this, but I just never thought of, I just never found the perfect time where I thought of releasing this. So as I mentioned, I started the audio podcast as well, Hear the Hustle. So if you're hearing it right up there, great. Otherwise, it's there on my YouTube channel, which is probably where some of you are watching this video right over here as well. Again, the sound may be a bit off because the microphone that we were using wasn't that good, but and we found it out after the interview that day. But yeah, the content is absolutely great, and it would mean a lot for me if you would go ahead and watch the entire thing or hear the entire thing, no matter where you're consuming this interview episode. And just let me know at the end, let me know exactly how it was for you, and also if there's anything that you would like to see next or whom you would like to see content from next. So just let me know on my Instagram, and we'll try our best to make it happen. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this interview. I don't want to make this intro too long. It's I think 2 or 3 minutes long already. I don't want to make this intro too long. But again, I really hope you find some value in it. And yeah, let me know. Thanks. So hey there everyone. So welcome back to another episode. Now this episode has come quite after a couple of weeks, I would guess. But well, I think I've made up for it simply because I'm here with this guy right over here. So this guy is Karan Shah. Can you just explain a bit about yourself? Give a quick intro.
So hi guys, my name is Karan Shah. I'm the founder and CEO at IIDE, which is the Indian Institute of Digital Education. I'm a Harvard grad specializing in e-commerce strategies, private equity. I have trained more than 10,000 students offline, maybe 20 to 30,000 students online. I'm generally a visiting faculty at top Indian institutes like the IIMs and the IITs. I'm a recent TEDx speaker. I used to be an investment banker when I started off my career, but I am just not that anymore. I'm an educator. So yeah, that's a brief introduction about me.
Okay, quite a lot, to be honest. That's actually quite a lot, because I didn't know. I knew most of the stats, but I did not know that you went to Harvard.
Dude, I just went for specialization courses.
Okay, so I did not know that. But wow. Okay, wow. Okay, so for the very few, firstly, I'd just like to give a quick thing right over here, that for the very few people in Bombay or maybe in India who don't know about IIDE, so they're like literally, I'm guessing the top or one of the top. I think it's the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm guessing, like, I think it's the top in India at least when it comes to digital education, everything from marketing to coding to design to like literally anything digital, it's like top. Okay, but yeah, I just wanted to add that one thing.
Thanks, Karan.
Really well. But yeah, so I've got quite a few questions written right away on my laptop.
Let's
for
go.
You. So yeah, one obvious question just to start this whole thing in. I won't say obvious question, but quite a cool question is that what are your thoughts on digital? Just a quick answer. What are your thoughts on digital?
Look, I think there are 3 points that I have to make out here. Point number one is that I think the price of internet in our country is dropping down unbelievably. So basically, till 2016, 1 GB of internet data would cost you $300, and people would use that for one entire month. Today, in the same 250 rupees, 300 rupees, you're getting 1 GB of data per day.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So Indians are now spending $10 a day and are getting access to 1 GB of data per day, and that was not the state in 2016. which basically means that with Jio coming in, India is actually, as of now, the world's cheapest country when it comes to internet data.
Yeah.
So basically, in the next 5 years, data is going to be so cheap that everybody's going to have access to the internet. So internet users will grow innumerably. The second thing is that price of smartphones have gone down so low in our country that you can buy a fully functional smartphone in under 5,000 rupees. So extremely cheap smartphones, extremely cheap data, world's cheapest data providing country. And third is the Prime Minister is always talking about digital India.
Yeah.
So every business, everyone has to look at digital. It is not the future, it is now the present.
Wow, okay. Pretty cool. Okay, yeah. So that's great. Now, I just wanted to give you a quick summary on my audience, whoever's mostly watching this. Like 95% of my audience are basically like people our age who are either going into college, like in college, or was just passed out.
Right.
Okay, so they mostly feel like formal education isn't the thing, and digital, everyone is hopping into this digital thing, and they know the potential of it. Okay, but my one question is that what would be the thing that, what do you see? Now normally I'm guessing that most of your students are also somewhat in the same audience age.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Probably. So what do you see in them? Like, what's the one thing that actually takes them from that formal thing to that digital education thing?
I think first of all, it's the call of the hour. Okay, so it's like you go for a job interview today, the first thing they'll ask you, if it's a sales or marketing or advertising related interview, which is a big segment of the jobs out there, the first question they'll ask you is, hey, can you do digital marketing? You know, can you bring us leads? Can you bring us more viewers online? Right? That's the first thing that everyone's asking. So it is basically the industry has shifted and they have a new need, and which is why everybody out there, all the candidates between the age of 18 to 24 have realized that even if I'm going for a small internship or a good paying job, it is a skill. Basically, previously you had to be proficient in Microsoft Excel, Word, right? That's 2005. In 2019, you got to be proficient in digital marketing, data, something like that, because that's the need of the hour. So the industry is pushing it. There's no way out. The future is here, present.
Wow. Okay. And also one other thing that I've seen is that nowadays, like at least in 2019 at least, okay, there's so many people on Instagram, as I was mentioning before this, that there's so many people on Instagram showing that yes, there is potential to get some results online.
Right.
Okay, they need to start online. Okay, and because I'm not sure in the past few years, but at least in 2019, I've seen that yes, there's so many people just from Instagram and YouTube going on to this whole digital online wave. Do you think by any chance is it getting a bit too oversaturated, or maybe it might be losing its potential compared to maybe a couple of years back?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that, as I said, right, the number of users are growing continuously. It's all about good content. So saturation is for people who are competing.
Yeah.
And saturation is for people who want to just do basic jobs. But if you're genuinely investing in your content, you're really doing a good job, putting out some quality information out there, I see competition to be one of the last factors in digital, because people have the right to see your content and shut it if they like.
Yeah.
But if they really like your content, then they have the internal emotion to click on the follow button, right?
Okay, yeah.
So my take on it is, if you're doing the quality content, if you're getting it right, stop worrying about competition, do a good job. Forget the fad of how many people are out there. Success is still there because the number of users are out there. So take advantage. Look at the bigger side. Don't look at the competition side.
Okay. Wow, that actually explains a lot. Okay. So my next question is that now that I follow quite a lot of people in this whole entrepreneurial digital side. Okay. And I've seen that two types of things that I've seen at least. Okay. Number one, it's like you find one platform, you go all into it for like the next 5 to 10 years.
Correct.
Okay. And others are like, find something that works and go into that. Like for example, TikTok.
Right.
Okay, so right now it's working, that's why people are saying go into TikTok, but in the next 2 years maybe that might be a new platform.
Don't know.
So what is your perspective when it comes to like personal branding or businesses or anything?
So first things first, stop going on all platforms.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pathetic idea to be on all platforms, because you will never be able to concentrate on any one platform. Any business owner has 8 hours in a day to work. So you need to optimize your hours and know where the most loyal and a bigger quantity following is available. So if that's Instagram, gun for Instagram. If that's YouTube, stick to YouTube. Otherwise, you're actually just putting your efforts in YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It doesn't make sense. IIDE is on Twitter just for customer service. We don't use Twitter. We're on Facebook just for hygiene. We don't do anything on Facebook otherwise. We use Instagram, TikTok. We think our audience is too young for it. So don't try being everywhere where the world is. Be sure on exactly where your audience is, quality and quantity, and just attack there. Anything you do after that on any other platform, the organic following you get, that's good for you, but that's not something you should keep metrics as, that I want to achieve that. Achieve the one platform where quality and quantity customers, and just gun there.
Okay.
It's easier, smarter, quicker, and you'll just be able to reap the platform faster.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So my next question is basically, you mentioned something about content. Okay. I wanted to ask you is that when it comes to content, okay, what do you think if, let's say, I'm going to be talking about a percentage wise, okay, what type of percentage of your overall content should be more into, entertaining or giving
80-20.
value or something?
80% of our ID's content is always educative. In our case, we're educative. Basically, it's called, it's the 80-20 is the golden rule, where 80% of your content is knowledge. It's basically information, it's quality stuff, it's engaging. And then 20% of our content is generally promoting to bring you to a sale, to buy something from us.
Wow.
But 80-20 is the generic law which we've been using.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I think that would explain. That's actually one of the questions that I received.
80-20, man, 80-20. So
okay, perfect. So you had mentioned you have done a TEDx talk, as I saw it, and I saw it yesterday. Okay, and in this you had mentioned one principle. Okay, I think it was the hedgehog principle.
Hedgehog principle, yeah.
So, could you name one principle that you feel like would help a hell lot of people like my age?
Right.
Just one.
Okay, just one.
Yeah, just one principle. What do you think from our age group?
I think it's a quote that I have on my wall.
Yeah. Okay.
And my principle is, winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. And that is the principle that I live by, and my entire team lives by it, that every day we gotta be winning, and if we aren't winning, then I don't know who the hell you are. Okay, so you're not a part of my team, you don't share my blood, you don't share my vision. So the one principle I live by, that if I'm fighting, I better be winning, otherwise I'll choose the right fight. But the minute I decide to fight, or the minute I decide that I want to conquer something, the attitude is that I will win and come back. So that's my principle, and I live by that, and I breathe by that for sure.
Wow. Okay. That was, I think, till now, I think I like that answer though. I mean, all of them were pretty good, but that one was actually pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So now I just wanted to ask you one other thing. Is that now there are some controversies that I see when it comes to digital. Okay. Now some people say that digital, it's like unbelievable. Okay, it's like a huge potential, right? But some people think that, you know what, because of digital there might be a loss of jobs, like because of softwares. Like for example, when it comes to design, it could be Canva. When it comes to websites, Wix, WordPress. There are certain loss, I won't say of jobs, but yeah, there are certain loss of opportunities because of digital. So I just wanted to ask you one question, which is that if you had to name one, what would be one con or one type of weakness or one type of opportunity in the future for digital to improve?
To improve, I'd say, first of all, change is inevitable. Okay, so every 10 years there's going to be a change, and in the digital era, the 10 years can be even 1 year. So there's going to be a change every year. Now, you have two ways to look about it. You sit at home and you crib about losing your job, or you go back out work and say, fine, I'll find myself something new to do. You have a choice to make a decision, right? But the world is not going to stop. So I'd say, don't fear digital, embrace it, because change is coming and it's only coming for the better. So if you're going to lose your job, you'll find a better job. Basically, digital does one thing very specific. It gets rid of monotonous jobs, right? It automates things which are monotonous. That basically allows the human brain to be more creative, right? So you can continuously think of how to do tasks more efficiently. Time is the most important thing in business. So how much time you can save per job, right? Everything at IID is calculated per minute. So
Okay.
if there's someone's salary who's 1 lakh rupees a day, it's how much money is getting paid per minute,
Okay.
right? And how much time of his I can save or her I can save. So digital is coming. It's going to help automate, embrace it. Don't fear it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I think that explains the whole question.
Yeah. So if you lose a job, man, you'll find a new one.
Okay, so I'll tell you a bit about myself first. So I run an agency, kind of agency called Scales Media.
Okay.
Okay, and I haven't gone through any certified digital marketing course. I haven't got any certificate in Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever type of stuff. Okay, and I've not even gone through any type of YouTube course. I've just gone through a couple of YouTube videos to teach me the basics.
Okay.
But I feel like, at least this is my thought process, okay, that I feel like I try and pride myself in the sales processes. I feel like if the sales processes are efficient, it doesn't matter whether you're an expert at ads, you'll get efficient results.
Right.
So what's your thought process on that? Would you prefer, like, this is just for me, what type of advice would you give me in this case, that should I focus more on sales processes or ads? Because I had mentioned before the interview, my CPC is about 4
Right.
to 7.
So what
yeah.
you should actually be focusing on is analytics.
Okay.
You should know your analytics end to end. So you should know that for every 100 people who see your ad, how many people are clicking on your ad. So let's take a simple example. For, let's say there are 1 lakh people who saw your ad and 1% of them clicked on your ad. So you've got 1,000 people who've clicked on your ad. From those 1,000 people, let's say 850 came onto your landing page. From your landing page, 10% of them actually filled up a form. That's 85. And from those 85, let's say 10% people bought something from you. That's 8.5. So you need to know these numbers by heart. Digital marketing, the second word to digital marketing is called statistical marketing. In my mind and in my eyes, digital marketing is not a creative art, to be very honest. Creativity is a part of it, but the reality of it is statistics. If you know digital marketing via statistics, like I'm a statistician digital marketing and a digital marketer. That's why I think I'm an expert, because I use stats to prove everything. I can look at anybody's historic digital marketing efforts and predict basis budget the next year's marketing results, right? And when you start knowing that is when you're an expert digital marketer.
Okay.
So for that, you need to emphasize a lot on the results of your digital marketing efforts. Analytics, you need to be able to analyze how many people saw your ad, how many people clicked on it, how many people reached the landing page, which form did they submit a form on, what was the percentage of people who came on the page to the people who signed up, what was the percentage of the people who signed up and who actually paid, what was the percentage of people who paid and then repaid some other product. You need to know these numbers by heart. And when you know that, you're able to curate a super media plan which is extremely efficient. So next time I can say, last year you spent 1 rupee and you made 5 rupees, 1 rupee in ads and 5 rupees in sales. Next time you should be able to certainly say that I'll spend 10 rupees in ads and make 100 rupees in revenue. For that you need analytics.
Okay. So you're saying that you need to know the specific numbers of every single stage of
the sales funnel. Of the sales funnel. So how many people, so awareness is how many people probably came to your website. Interest is how many people scrolled on your website, clicked on a few. Desire is how many people actually filled in a form. And action is how many people who purchased.
Okay.
Know the numbers to all these things. Do you know the percentages?
Not of every single specific thing, that's all.
Well, that's the first thing that you will need to know.
Yeah.
If you really want to talk confidently to any client.
Yeah, okay. That's one thing that really helped me personally. I don't know about the viewers, but that's one thing that helped me. Yeah. Okay, so wow, that actually explained a bit about that type of stuff. How you can go ahead and become more efficient with your whole thing, whether it's talking to a client or just with your digital marketing.
You need to know your numbers, man, at all times.
Okay. So tell me one thing. Now since you talked a bit about talking about clients and everything, now so many people now. I'm being very honest with you. I've got a small following on Instagram, and out of them, all of them, like 95% or more, are my age group, my type of, I won't say driven, something like that, but they have my type of interest. They don't find interest in college and school and all of that, and they want to do something with their potential, with their time, something like that, and they go into this whole digital thing. Most of them they start a digital agency, something like working like freelancers, selling services. Okay, so they get those type of skills, they work like freelancers, they start some type of thing where they're selling either content services or marketing services or some type of service. Okay, but because of like this whole age thing, they're my age. Okay, because of this whole age thing, they find it very tough to communicate the whole service, communicate the value of that service to a business person, to a prospect. So what do you think would be the best or maybe a good way of like communicating the value of your service to a prospect?
Just make a good pitch, man.
Make a good pitch.
Make a good pitch deck. Make a good presentation which tells the brand where they stand. So step 1 is the brand audit, where they actually stand in SEO rankings, in Google ad rankings, in Facebook rankings, in email marketing, in remarketing, in SMS marketing, in influencer marketing, in Quora answers.
Okay.
So do a brand audit. Once you do a brand audit, then do a competitor audit, which tells them, okay, here is competition ABC, and in terms of SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, organic content, email marketing, this is where brand ABC is. And then the third thing you show them is the gap, right? This is the gap that we will fulfill, and you show them the entire gap and tell them that that's our service that we will be actually doing for you. And then the last bit of it is what you would be compensated for the service. But if you follow this simple process of telling them where they stand, where competition is standing, what's the gap they need to fill, and also talk about their customers, target audience. That what is the pain point of the target audience that you want to actually, what will be the ad saying, what will your communication be, and most of your communication is always target audience driven. So if you're able to communicate these 3-4 points in your good looking pitch deck, good looking is very important because it's digital, so people can see stuff. If it's ugly, then bad luck. So if it's good looking, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. So if you do these 4 points, I don't think age is a barrier.
Okay, so I've got one follow-up question to that. Is that what do you think people should be pricing these services? Some people, like, there are 2 options that I see, at least in the marketing world.
Right.
Okay, number 1 is that they go for quantity, as in like each sale, no matter how much value it is, if it's like Facebook ads, then it's like 20,000 rupees a month, each sale.
Okay.
Okay, doesn't matter whether they're making them 10,000 in return, or doesn't matter whether they're making 10 crores in return,
Okay.
20,000 per sale. And some is like, if they're making, let's say, 5 lakhs in return, okay, they're going to charge about 70, 80, maybe a lakh max. You know that.
So generally, the revenue that an agency makes is anything between 5 to 15% of the marketing spends.
Okay, 5 to 15%.
So the biggest companies in the world, let's say if your budget is 1 lakh rupees, then they will charge you 15%. Okay. So 15,000 rupees is your service fee. If the marketing spend is 1 crore, then my service fee will be 5%, which is 5 lakhs. Are you understanding? But generally companies, and like the biggest companies like a Group M will do it at 3%, because they have budgets of 20 crores a month or 50 crores a month, so they'll charge 3%. So it basis, but it's generally basis the media budget of the client, and it's a percentage of that.
Okay, so that's how normally they would work.
That's how agencies work across the world.
Yeah, so that I feel like I did not
know.
I did not.
That's the reality, but
that's one of the things that I did not know. So normally people would say that, online, whenever you go and you see these type of freelancer agencies, there aren't big offices or anything like that. It's probably like a freelancer with about a team of 2, 3, 4 people.
Right.
Okay, and they would be charging something like that. So I think the whole online space, okay, with like, I'm not talking about the other agencies which are like huge clients, huge offices or anything. I'm talking about just like a normal freelancer, maybe work from home or work from a co-working space.
But I'm talking only ads.
Yeah.
If you're doing organic content on social media, like putting up a Facebook post, an Instagram post or anything like that, then you could be charging a retainer. Then you charge monthly.
Okay.
You charge 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. So freelancers charge 10, 15, 20k. Big companies like a Social Connect would charge like 10 lakhs a month.
10 lakhs a month.
10 lakhs a month. But big clients would pay, an MNC would pay like 10 lakhs a month just to do your content on social media. Just basic content. And then they would spend another 50 lakhs a month just on ads.
Wow, okay.
So generally digital marketing is split into organic content and performing content, which is paid content. So paid content will have a margin of anything between 3% to 15%. And organic content is monthly retainers, basis client, basis budget, basis how many members of your team will be required, how creative you are.
Okay.
Could be at 15 grand a month to 15 lakhs a month. It could be anything.
Okay, I get it. So now I think I'm pretty much done with the whole digital questions.
Okay.
Now I've got a couple of entrepreneurial questions
Sure.
for you. Number one, actually this I didn't even prepare for this question. It was just that I walked into this place and I saw the place and I was like, damn, it's actually pretty more than what I was expecting, to be very honest with
Thank you.
Because I saw the place, I thought maybe a couple of cabins here and there, the full floor is yours. Then I come over.
There's way more, man. There's behind which you haven't seen.
Oh, okay, great.
30 people sit behind yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, like, it was way more than what I was expecting. So, I think you all started this in 2013?
Yeah. As a college going kid in 2000, actually 11.
Okay.
11 is when I began in my second year of college.
Okay.
Of degree college.
Do you think, so this is like bootstrapped?
Absolutely bootstrapped.
Wow. Okay. So, could you tell me a bit, like, of your journey, like how it started and how it got bootstrapped?
So, very funny story. I have done an internship every year of my life. From the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I have always been working. I used to go to college for a few hours in a day and I used to have a job at all times. One of my most interesting jobs was I used to work in a casino in Goa. It's called Casino Royale. I don't know if you've heard of it, but the poker championships happen out there. And when I was 18, I was doing a job once, 1 week in a month I used to go to Goa. And besides the rainy season, but the remaining 9 months I used to be there for 1 week in a month. And honestly, I never knew what Facebook and Twitter back in the day, Facebook and Twitter was. But over there, my job was to stand next to the table where these guys are playing pots worth 5 lakhs and 2 lakhs and 1 lakh. All rich people sitting on a poker table. And my job was to just service them. So it could be sometimes even bringing them alcohol or coke or food. And the other part of the job was to be able to take down notes of what they are actually doing on the poker table. So I had to take down notes of what the hand was and how interesting the game was, and I had to tweet that on Twitter and put that up on Facebook. That's where I got introduced to Facebook and Twitter. So I used to do this internship for money and to go to Goa because two things co-line, they sound cool. But in the process of the internship, I actually got introduced to Facebook and Twitter. So that was the first move towards this. Then I got bored of that internship and because my parents stopped allowing me to go to Goa and they were like, you're doing something wrong out there. They just had this presumption. And then I actually started working for a call center in Mumbai. So for 9 months I worked in a BPO. So where 200 of us used to sit and make phone calls a day saying, aapko demat account chahiye ki nahi sir? You know how those credit card guys or SIM card guys call you? I was doing a very similar job. And we used to make 200 phone calls a day to sell financial services, and trust me, not one person would talk to you on the phone. Yeah, people would just keep slamming the phone on you. So 2 months into the job, when I was working at the call center, we used to have a target. You need to sell 10 accounts every month. And 2 months into doing that job, I was unable to sell even one account. So I got a letter on my desk which said you will have to resign the next month because you haven't been able to sell a single account. And that's when I got really pissed off. So what I simply did was I had to sell stock market accounts, demat accounts. You know what demat accounts are? In which, like a bank account is for banking transactions, demat accounts are for stock market transactions. What I simply did was I went to my college and I made an announcement saying how many of you guys want to learn stock markets, and the branch manager of XYZ company will come and teach you stock markets, and if you all like it, you all can start trading. So we used to do these 2-day workshops. In the first 4 months, we had 481 students who signed up. Wow. And literally every student who did this 2-day workshop with my branch manager and me ended up opening a demat account with us. Okay, so from having 0 customers, my target was 10 customers a month. I started doing 100 customers a month because we had 480 students in the first 4 months. So those are the number of demat accounts I actually opened. And that's how I got introduced to the education space, because we were doing seminars and doing workshops. So I got introduced to digital in my casino. I got introduced to education when I was working in the call center. So instead of calling people and selling demat accounts, we were training people, teaching them a little bit about stock markets and making them open demat accounts. And that's my journey, man. Lots of diverse internships. Post that I did an internship in digital marketing in today one of Asia's largest digital marketing companies. I was a salesman again out there. Then I did an internship in investment banking, where I realized that investment banking is so not made for me and I hate it. But before that, I always thought that investment banking will be the hottest job out there, So honestly, my journey has been a lot of hardship, no sleep, work every day, attend college from 7 to 12, 12 to 8, internship every day, make meager money, and honestly learn a lot. Because all I did through these internships was learned and found what I really liked and what I really didn't like. So if you're confused in life and what you want to do, I strongly recommend you to get some internships, because that's the one place you'll know कि मुझे ये पसंद है, I like a few things and I don't like a few things.
Okay.
And then all you got to do is concentrate on what you like, and that will be the business for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that was a perfect answer.
Yeah.
Phew. Shit, I'm still stuck on that previous question. I can't move on to the next question. I'm being very honest, man. That answer was pretty cool. So, you feel like internships are obviously the key thing to learn anything, what you're passionate about, what you like.
They give you a lot of exposure.
Yeah, gives a lot of exposure.
Yeah, it's a must to do, because the only way you'll figure it out. IIDE is the result of my internships that I did. It's genuinely what I did in my college days, and none of my friends did it. They were all chilling, doing nothing, time pass, on drugs, smoking, chilling, girls, parties, you know. I did a lot of that as well, but I really just wanted to work, and my dad pushed me, my mom pushed me, and they were always gunning for me to work, and everybody accepted the fact that education in your college is good. But the real question is that enough?
Okay.
Yeah, and if you really want the answer, ask yourself.
So, have you heard of Avalon Labs by any chance?
Avalon Labs.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Varun?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think through your page only I saw that dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically the core team, like, which was Shashank and Abhinav. Abhinav is the marketing guy, Shashank finance, and Varun is the
Okay.
head, like, operations main guy. Okay. So I had them on and everything, and the thing is that they're trying to. They also know. Actually, everyone knows that this current education system isn't that good. You know, but what they're doing is that creating a platform where they teach about business, pitching, sales, creative, coding, everything online. There's no certificate, there's no anything like that, but it's like completely free. Like, it's like, you've heard of Khan Academy?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
You know, but like for real world type of skills. You know, so what do you think would be that type of, like, you can learn all of this stuff on, my end question is that you can learn all this type of stuff online for free. Okay, you can learn the real world skills, but why do you think people still go to colleges, go for the degree, go for a certificate, go for all of that?
So, to be very honest, the real answer is that college and formal education is a must. Because formal education is not teaching you subjects, and if you think that is true, then that's a lie. Formal education is teaching you something known as human skills. Okay, when you go to college, your end goal to college should not be what the teacher is teaching. Your end goal to college should be how to deal with the 100 people in your classroom. Are you able to make friendship with everyone? Are you able to learn how to convince a teacher to give you the right marks? Are you figuring how to make the right friends, who's strong in what areas? That is the goal of going to a college. It's a space where a lot of human beings come, where you make friends, and your friends become your friends basically decide who you are. You're generally the average of the 5 people around you. The law says that you're the average of the 5 people around you. So if you pick the right 5 people who will be your friends around you, then you will be more progressive in life. So coming to a classroom, the whole reason is to network. And honestly, remember this line: network is a true value of your net worth. So you go to class to actually figure the right network, to talk to the right teachers, to learn the right human skills, to learn how to interact with a different gender. These are the kind of things which to learn how to make a presentation in a classroom. These are the kind of skills which don't happen overnight. They take 3 years, 4 years, and that's why you go to college. What they teach you in those 3-4 years, apart from these human skills, it's okay. Even if you score a D grade everywhere, it's okay. Because you will find that one skill that you're amazing at, photography, podcast, cooking, and you'll excel. But the human skills, that's what you still need there. Till school you were fine, but you still need that till you're 21. And that's why you go to formal education places. So online education is amazing if you really want to learn. and you should totally go there. But online education is not so high when it teaches you human skills, and that's why you need to still go to an offline institute or an offline place of learning.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a must. Look at it that way.
Yeah.
Look at the friends, look at the teachers, look at the network, look at the human skills. That is the pro reason of going to a class. Why do you want to go to a good college?
Well, you can't ask me that because I don't want to go to a good college.
But why does somebody want to go to a good college, right?
Good degree, high paying job, something like that.
No, man. My parents, the first concern they had, good college for good crowd.
Okay.
Good crowd for good friends. Good friends for good life.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the first thought process that a parent has. Right? In my Gujarati language, Angat hi sangat angat hai. It means that your friends make who you are. So that's the reason why you go to a good place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about choosing, because your friends will make who you are. If they have bad habits, you'll have bad habits. Simple as that. If they have good habits, you'll have progressive habits.
Wow. Okay. I think that marks the end of my questions. But last thing, this one was actually this thing I've not heard from anyone. I don't remember hearing it from anyone, because truly nobody talks about this perspective.
Right.
Lots of people talk about how the education system is broken and all that type of stuff.
Right.
Okay, but nobody talks about this one thing, and that I feel like is of huge value to at least the viewers. Okay, but to me, I know that it's like solid, because nobody has talked to me at least about this perspective.
This is this is my main perspective to go to college, is this.
Okay.
At IIDE, dude, we have like application forms, right? You have to give a 30 minutes entrance test if you want to be a student of IIDE.
Okay.
Post the entrance test, you will get a telephonic interview. If you think you're fine, you'll be in. If you think we're still confused, we call you down and we meet you. The sole objective is to filter the crowd, is to ensure that I have a diverse crowd in my classroom with lots of different perceptions and thoughts, and they all are ethical, correct, and ambitious. When we find these combinations is when you're allowed to step into IID.
Okay.
Right? So it's a filtered process, and no normal institute will do a filtering process like this, right? We don't do a filtered process basis HSE marks, right? Not a standardized test. There'll be a proper 30-minute test, a lot of subjective answers. We will read through them, we will call you, we will filter you, just to ensure that the crowd out here feels progressive. So go to class for that. Don't go to class for I learned ABCD. No, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. No, because trust me, that was like nobody talks about this perspective. I'm being very honest. Nobody talks about this.
Most people will be abusing college, right? Or school, but that's where everybody came from. So don't be disgruntled. Basically, the idea is you have two choices. Look at the negatives of an option or look at the positives of an option. To me, the positive of going to college is taking advantage of how many presentations they make you make. Right? And the negative is gisapata curriculum. Screw that. Look at the positive. Don't waste your time abusing something. Invest your time in progressing something. Simple. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I think Rahul's also enjoying this, huh? Solid, huh? Okay, wow. Yeah, I think that's the end of all of my questions. I've just got one last thing to end this whole thing off. Is that, as I mentioned, this whole audience of mine is just people my age looking to they have a lot of free time. They don't believe in this whole education system. They feel like they have a lot of potential, but they don't know where to invest their time, effort, anything like that to actually use this potential of theirs. So what do you think should be just one thing, okay, where they can take action right now, whether it's research, whether it's enrolling into an internship, whether it's whatever, but just one thing after watching or hearing this podcast?
Shut this podcast, don't waste time, and find something to do.
Okay.
The minute you are done, right? After this podcast. The basic ideology is most people say time is priceless. Let me put it simpler, time is money also. Every minute matters. So the minute you're done with this podcast, if you're even slightly inspired, just get out and find something to do. It could be a dance class, a guitar class, a community service, social service, internship, job, a new course, new friends. If it's a relationship, invest in your girlfriend, invest in your boyfriend, but do not waste time, right? Understand what is the means to reach your final objective, and then choose the path which will get you to the final objective. For me, one of my final paths in life was to be someone who does a lot of social service, right? So education and opening this institute is just a means to reach my final cause of being on a stage who motivates 5,000, 50,000, 5 lakh people to think better, to vote better, to do the right kind of things. So choose a path, but look at every opportunity that comes by you and just grab it.
Okay, perfect. Then I think that marks the end of it. It was like solid, man. Like honestly, solid value. I honestly feel like people would be able to give a hell lot of great feedback after this.
Thank you.
Wow.
I hope it helps you guys.
Yes, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. So yeah. Anyways, could you just give a bit of information after this podcast? Where could they find you? Instagram or website?
So you could surely reach out to me on my Instagram. My handle is Karan Shah 0123. You could also email me karan@iide.co, not com.co. So if you want to reach out to me for any advice basis career, basis digital marketing, or even if it just confused the life and you want someone to like help you, more than happy to help. I read all my Instagram DMs and I personally read all my emails. I never let a single email go unread in my inbox, never ever. So that's one of my biggest habits, which helps us go faster actually, I think. So if you ever want to reach out to me for anything digital, education, marketing, tech, automation, happy to help. I can share all my experience and I will be very happy to write back to you. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that marks the end of today's podcast episode. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in, watching all of that. And anyways, I hope you all found some value and I'll see you all in the next one.
Thanks a lot, guys.